My favorite teacher came early in my educational career. It was Rosemary Gumple, who was my third grade teacher, and I loved Miss Gumple. And there's two things I'll tell you about Miss Gumple. The first was she created this series of stories called Nancy Nuisance. And she created those, I know now, because she had read Dennis the Menace. And she was upset that Dennis the Menace was a boy, but that there was no equivalent girl. And she created this series, Nancy Nuisance. And Nancy would get into trouble, all kinds of trouble, and she illustrated them. Miss Gumple wrote these stories. They were amazing, and she would read them to us every week. And we all looked forward to those stories so much. The funny thing is, I, of course, didn't realize that she was making a comment on gender or doing it because there was Dennis the Menace. It's only now as an adult when I look back that I realize what she was doing. And here's another story about Miss Gumple that has a similar inflection to it. My best friend in third grade was Jimmy Grimes, and Jimmy was an African-American boy, and he was my best friend. We did everything together, and we got into a lot of trouble together. We were a little mischievous. We would sometimes move things around in the classroom, or we would come late to class after switching, and Miss Gumple decided to write a series of stories about the two of us. And she did this without us knowing, but at the end, she shared some of the stories with us and our parents. And I thought, well, this is wonderful. We had such a good friendship that Miss Gumple wrote a story about us. But again, just like Nancy Nuisance, I didn't realize that she was making a commentary on race, that what she saw was so special about our relationship is that Jimmy was African American and I was white, and we were best friends, and we didn't really even know that. We just knew that we were the best of friends. Miss Gumple was my favorite teacher for a lot of other reasons as well. Her lessons were always dynamic and exciting, and she had all these materials that we could feel and play with. And I'll never forget Miss Gumple. She was my favorite teacher.